As I checked with a bunch of lawyers, and it's not illegal, is what I'm hoping at least. But I think we printed like 190 IDs in that 5-hour window. Okay. My name's Sunday Nobody. I'm an artist from Seattle. We made a fake ID vending machine.
All right, pause. This is Sunday Nobody. Maybe you've seen his viral art projects on the internet, all based around memes or motifs influenced by internet culture, or just simple, silly ideas on a humongous scale.
This is how I made a 3,000-pound sarcophagus and put a bag of flaming hot Cheetos on the inside of it, and then dug a big hole and buried it underground for future civilizations to find.
Welcome back to the studio. If you're new, I'm Slew. I'm usually painting or working on my own projects, but I became friends with Sunday Nobody almost a year ago, and about 2 months ago, I got a wacky phone call from him. What's up, brother?
I want to get your take on my next project idea, if you have a second.
Yep.
So I want to make a fake ID vending machine. I want to set up a vending machine in New York City. People can come use it and get not a real fake ID, but like a fake ID. And we'll make like a sort of fake DMV experience for them to come to fake IDs from.
This is a different video than I usually upload, but the point of this studio is to collaborate and be able to provide resources, and I always love helping or working with other artists. So this video is all about how I helped produce Sunday Nobody's fake ID vending machine pop-up here in Brooklyn, New York City.
People ask a lot about the genesis of the ideas, and the answer is I have a big long list and I just come up with stuff that's silly.
Guys, Sunday Nobody is really nervous, but it's gonna be awesome. He's prepped so much and there's so much coolness to this pop-up. It's gonna be amazing. I'm so amped.
Okay, we're doing an integration test. They come in, I say, hello, welcome. Here is a form, thank you. And the form has a bunch of stuff on it. Take a pen, boop, and they also take a number from here. Then they get their photo taken, click. Yeah, we need to tape that so we don't trip on it. Then that gets linked directly to our computers, and then we start editing their IDs. I need to figure out a way to explain this in a more succinct way. They go use the vending machine, beep, bloop, 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 and they get one of the 3 states, a temporary ID that doesn't have their picture or their name on it. Ohio was the first one that came. That was just an easy one where you're just like, Florida and Ohio, they feel adjacent to one another even though they're like not geographically the same. Westsylvania, which is Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Transylvania, and that one's Dracula themed. And then District of Chef. The District of Chef is if you combine a bunch of Midwestern states, it looks like a chef holding a plate of food. I knew that it would be like very illegal and I think a felony too to do real fake IDs, so I had to do fake IDs. Then they sit down and they scan this and they fill out another form as well. And once they start filling out this sort of joke form, then we're in the background frantically making their real ID. So the main thing that we ran into that was like the most difficult process was trying to figure out we're gonna have like a crap load of people coming and feeding in really quickly. And so we needed to figure out a way and like a behind the scenes system that tried to automate as many of these tasks as possible so that everything wouldn't, like even if something takes 1 minute, 1 minute times 200 is a lot of time and people don't want to wait that long. The photos, for example, someone comes in, great, take their photo. That's so easy. But it's like, okay, how do you get the photo to the computer? And then you have to figure out, okay, but how do you make sure that the people's faces are linked up to the correct names? And you're like, okay, we have a QR code that people scan, and then they fill out a digital form, and that auto links to a spreadsheet, and then Slew's behind the scenes with his Photoshop knowledge, and he's doing a bunch of automated tasks on Photoshop, inputting the name and making sure that people, get their ID and have the actual correct name on it. I got a gallery space in Brooklyn to allow me to set this up. I just like to say I'm not nervous. I've been sleeping really well, and I think it's gonna be a great success.
That's sarcasm.
I was nervous about this project because usually in my past projects, I made the project, then I shared it, and in that order. And this project, people had to participate to have the actual project come to life, and so it was kind of reversed, and I didn't know if I could actually do that or not. I didn't know if people would actually come. I'm uploading the vending machine, so I'm excited. It also makes me realize like there's zero chance we would be able to get this on our own, I think. All right, vending machine has arrived. Okay, so start off with a quarter, and we come in, pretty self-explanatory. Put it in, and then we can pick whatever, say D6. It'll be a temporary ID, and then we will make your custom ID that has your face and your name. I'm nervous.
Are you?
Yeah.
Walk it out.
Well, I mean, it's just like engineers are always talking about integration hell. I got about an hour, we haven't done a full test yet, so I'm like, oh, I hope it works. But I think it will. I mean, because we did some testing yesterday, and this is just basically, we moved some stuff around, but that's kind of it. And the machine's working great, finally. The fix with the tape worked, some tape engineering. And the irony is that we were trying to encapsulate some amount of sort of bureaucracy and people waiting, but we didn't want it to be so long that it actually was like the real DMV. And I think the irony is that like, I don't know how long it took, but probably between 5 and at the most, maybe like 25 minutes to get people's IDs. So like we made IDs faster than the real DMV. And I feel like we could, if we really tried to, we could go like help the DMV out. I felt like I was throwing a party in high school for the first time, where you're like simultaneously terrified that no one will show up, and you're like, I'm a loser. And then you're also terrified that word will get out to the entire like county and everyone will show up and your parents' house will get trashed. And so I was equally terrified of both. And I feel like the definition of success in my mind was like pretty narrow. It was like I needed to be just the correct amount of people to come. But it ended up actually being that amount of people. It was perfect amount of people showed up. I was worried that like 100 people would show up at once and our systems would kind of get overwhelmed. Like people wouldn't have a place to sit. Like it would be a long line. And we woke up the day of and it was like pouring rain. And I was like, oh, damn it. But I think that if it had been not raining, we would have gotten overwhelmed because the perfect amount of people came. We were busy the entire time, but our systems never really got overwhelmed. I think if it had been better weather, things would have gone poorly.
How are we doing that?
Oh, dude, it's like the perfect pace. Like not too many people, but also like not too many people at once. It's like a very consistent, manageable flow, and we're like not freaking out. Oh, you're good. You want this? Which one is yours? Did I take it? I think I need to look at the spreadsheet, but I think we printed like 190 IDs in that 5-hour window, and then maybe 200 people showed up total. Then I released some online too, and I think once I need to check, but I think like 500-ish online too. Woo! Well, and also like the DMV, there was a bunch of steps that we were doing that made our lives easier, but like from a person coming in, they didn't know. It's like when you go to the DMV, people are wait in this queue, and then you wait in that queue, and they're like, well, this is the wrong queue, go to this other queue. And like there are a bunch of like rules that don't make sense. And so we had some of that stuff too. People are like, why am I holding my number up here? And like, why do I need to do this? And you're like, well, you know, did you fill out this other form correctly? Like, oh, you needed to fill out the digital form first. And all that stuff was like, we were trying to make it painless, but like in some ways it worked in that the DMV's painful. And so some of this stuff is also painful.
Nice.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't be able to take a week off of other things that I do to help produce things like that without sponsors on videos like these. You've heard before, the best place to build an online website. Squarespace has got your back. Sunday Nobody needs a place to promote all of his artwork. If you're an artist or have a business, you need a place. I'm starting a new organization here in the studio that I'm not gonna talk about yet. When I make a website, it will certainly be through Squarespace because of their amazing one-click templates, award-winning templates, their amazing customer service. You always have issues with website, and they have 24-hour customer service, which is really huge. Their platform is really powerful for all your e-commerce needs. You know, my favorite part is the third-party extensions to attach other commerce things and drop shipping and any tool you need for your business to optimize. It has it all built in. Squarespace is the best. If you want to go check it out, there's a free trial on squarespace.com. And when you're ready to get a domain and launch your website, you can go to squarespace.com/slew for 10% off. If you want more of Sunday Nobody, you could go check out a podcast I did with him here in the studio, the Slewniverse podcast we did like 3 months ago. We really talk in depth, and it's really wonderful. He's a very smart and thoughtful, articulate person about his craft and the world. So go check that out if you want.
If you make a YouTube video, you have to put this part in. Slapper. I just want everyone to know, Slew took an entire week off to just help me. He didn't do anything this entire week other than just help me and didn't ask anything in return. And he fed me. I've slept on his couch in the studio for the last 2 nights. This project would not have happened without him. You're the MVP of this project.
It was my pleasure.
In the truest sense of the word, it was a collaboration.
Yes, it was awesome.
And it was so fun.
Obviously, check out his socials. TikTok and Instagram are his main platforms. I'm gonna give you a final kind of shot list of all of the IDs we printed from the people who were in person. Shout out to everyone who came. It was like the craziest weekend, but so fun. That's all for me.